Well, hello all, and welcome to Ramblestream number 45 on this first day of July. It's good to have you all here, as always. My name is Richard Worsham, founder and designer here at Janus Motorcycles, and let me just get these comments coming up here. Great. Welcome again. Yes, if you're new, I'll give you the spiel. I asked that you shout out in the comments. Feel free to lurk as well if you'd like, but it is our way to post up where you're viewing from. Volume's good. Where you're viewing from, what motorcycle you own. If it's a Janus, give us the model and serial number. And if you don't have a Janus, tell us what else you ride or what you drive. And what else? Oh, and then what are you sipping on? This evening, I'm sipping on an old classic, Miller High Life, the champagne of beers. Cheers. And let's take a look at some of the folks that are already on here. I want to go ahead and say, Bob, you definitely take the first on. Bob was on quite a bit earlier. Bob says, Halcyon 450 number 230, Sturgis, South Dakota. Do I win the early bird drawing? Working today to trying to get ahead of stuff for the rally. He's speaking, of course, about Sturgis, where we were actually going to be visiting him. I watch it tonight when I get home. Nice. Ray Gates is on from Taylorsville. Halcyon 1055, a.k.a. Lead Feather. Nice. Had a great time at Rambler, the store in Peoria, 2 Saturdays ago. Justin was a great host, sipping Jack Daniels up iced tea. Okay, I don't know what that is, but jacked up iced tea? I don't know. Yep. And we got Rowan is on, Northern California, Origin number 1, ice cold Pepsi, 101 today, 112 tomorrow. Wow. Well, here in Goshen, we are actually blessed this week with very cool weather. It's like we're in northern Michigan. Warm in the afternoon, warm sun, but chilly temps. When I woke up this morning, it was 40 degrees, which I'll take this weather. Perfect for motorcycle riding. He says, weather will be over 100 for the next week and a half. Morning rambles only. I may melt otherwise. I hear you. Yeah, I think we're probably destined for the heat to get back up again soon here, but it's enjoying the cooler weather while we have it. Cody is on, anxiously awaiting Halcyon 250, number 1094. Greetings from Sheboygan, Wisconsin, sipping on a chai latte tonight. Let me know in the comments if the volume is working. I think it should all be good, but do let me know. Let's see. Jordy Field is on. Hello, Jordy with Halcyon 450 number 44. Thinking about a name of my motorcycle as in Hun Hunter, a World War II reference of P-47 Thunderbolts in skies of Italy. I go garage sale hunting on Friday through Saturday. Not sure. Nice. Rowan says, I almost forgot. Hello, Richard and fellow Janus aficionados. Well, hello to you, Rowan. Good to see you. Stephen Quick is on from Hurst, Texas. Halcyon 250 number 988 and waiting for Halcyon 450 number 304. Drinking a glass of Merlot. Wonderful, wonderful. Joel Yand is on. Old Man 1, Halcyon 450 number 218 and Griffin 450 number 1. Drinking Diet Pepsi. Gary Smith from East Lansing, Halcyon 50 number 11. 250 number 79, 450 number 3, Phoenix 250 number 79, sipping on a Dr. Pepper and cream soda, 0 sugar. Fantastic. That collection keeps growing, Gary. Old Man 1 from Kansas City, says Joel. Dave Husky's on, 250 number 138 in Las Cruces, New Mexico. He's drinking a martini, always with the classy drinks there. Scott Spence, 250 number 212 and 450 number 178, Elkhart, Indiana, sipping on a rum and coke. Brent is on. Griffin 250, number 145 in Maumee, Ohio. Corona Light. Wonderful. Mark Schaefer is joining us from Facebook afternoon from Florida. Good to see you, Mark. Mark McGee, Anna Cortez, Washington. Halcyon 250, number 997. Drinking a Lagunitas Maximus. 70 degrees here, mostly sunny. Charles, hello from the Eastern Shore, riding at 250, 454. Phoenix, number 30. And soon, hopefully, Griffin 450, number 4. Drinking iced tea now. Awesome. Oh, iced coffee. Wonderful. Good to see you, Charles. Dan Rademski, Halcyon 450, number 235. Coors, Colorado Kool-Aid in the shade of the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina. Wonderful. Kelly Chrisman, fellow Ramblers, hope everyone is doing great. 450, number 236. 2013 Ultra, 2006 Heritage, Winchester, Virginia, sipping on the ever-famous Orange Crush. Nice. Indeed. Dusty Frank, hello from Middle Georgia. Halcyon 450, number 283, sipping on ice-cold water. Has been 100 degrees here for 2 weeks straight, but it hasn't stopped me from putting miles on 283 and smiles on me. Wonderful. Good to hear, Dusty. Barb is on. Hello from Janus. Hello, Janus fam. Halcyon 450, number 278 here in Oregon, sipping on Cider Boys Peach County Cider in this sweltering, muggy heat. Multifarious from Nebraska, 250, 1067, Kingfisher. See, y'all getting the names. I was just this weekend thinking about number 68, my steed, sitting out front right now, and thinking, I got to get a name. I got to follow my own advice here. Jim Bledsoe, cooler day here, just water, 450, number 163. Decorated front yard. Happy 4th, everyone. Yes, happy 4th of July to everyone. It'll already be gone by the next Ramblestream. Whit Lindstrom, currently in Branford, Connecticut. Wonderful. Nancy from Hiram, Georgia. Hubby and I are waiting delivery of Halcyon 250, number 1080, and 250, an Origin 250, number 1085, sipping on water with lime. Good to have you. And I hope your bikes show up very soon. I think we actually will have at least one of those featured today on the builds of the week. Russell Peters, Detlef, Halcyon 450, number 86, Owensboro, Kentucky, water. Good to see you, Russell. Grant is on Facebook. Good to see you, Grant. Roger, Sturgis Road, South Dakota, Halcyon 250, number 1018. Am I correct to assume you'll be racing the Scrambler 450 on the newly designed TT course in the downtown streets of Sturgis on August 11th? He's drinking Cranberry 7-Up. Roger, you are absolutely correct. We will be racing on the streets of Sturgis on the newly designed TT course. So that means that it's not an oval track. I'm learning about this as we go along too. It follows the road. It'll have a dirt section and it'll have some jumps. So we're very, very, very excited, and we welcome all of you all to join us in Sturgis. It's the first 2 weeks of August. Sturgis, South Dakota. It's going to be a really good time. I'm looking forward to being there for the first time. Nicholas G, Southeastern Connecticut, Halcyon 250, number 1074. Oh, Grant's on YouTube as well. Straw Dog, greetings, Halcyon 250 in New Hampshire, sipping on water. Good to see you. Yep, correct. Wave Shredder, hi from DFW, looking to buy the Halcyon 450. What is the difference between the Origin and the other version? Have a bunch of bikes, Rocket 3R, nice. H2, wow, Multistrada and others, over 100 here in Drinking Lemonade. So it sounds like this will be a little bit of a different stablemate for your other bikes, Wave Shredder. The difference, to answer your question, if anyone else hasn't already answered it, is that the Origin line is kind of like what we call is our blank canvas. So it's a more basic in terms of the options and upgrades. It's exactly the same motorcycle as far as engine, transmission, wheels, shock absorbers, instrumentation, etc. But the ability for you to add options and upgrades is somewhat limited. Of course, the benefit of that is that it allows us to be able to offer it at a lower price point. So really, that's the main difference. You can get into the Janus model line at a lower price point. So they've been really popular. I think we've sold 2 Origins on Sunday. So 250s, that is, but we sell the 450s as well. Thank you for telling me the volume is good. Appreciate that. Roger says, will you be bringing a Scrambler 450 demo to the Sturgis Rally? Yes, we will have the Scrambler in attendance. So yes, please join us. Whit says, currently in Branford, Connecticut on vacation. Nice. Halcyon 450 number 277, sipping on spaghetti. Ooh, nice, a spaghetti. Well, I mean, I've got like half of a spaghetti here. Very nice. I was just up in Connecticut, and we will be talking about that this evening. Actually, I need to move because I got a long program here. Matt Lasapio, hey, on Facebook. Good to see you, Matt. Tell us where you're coming in from, and if you have a Janus, or if you ride something else, and what you're sipping on. Racing the Sun, Felix Brothers. 450 number 120 and 121, sipping on Founder's Mortal Bloom Hazy IPA. Cheers. Good to see you both. Paul is on, how was your Long Island trip? It was very good, and I will be talking to you all about it in a minute here. Evening, he says, 250 number 911, Long Island, New York. Oh, you were out right where we were. Matt 1110. Hey all, love your bikes. You guys are crushing it. I'd love to design some apparel for you guys. Well, fantastic. Get a hold of us. Dan Rademski says most flat track bikes run 19-inch front and rear wheels. Will the Janus FT be running those? Yes, it will. We are working with Buchanan Wheels, the great American custom wheel builders, on a 19-inch front and back reels, and I hope we'll see what happens. We're working with Hoosier Tire they're right next door over in South Bend on the flat track tires. Looking forward to seeing how that all comes together. I'll have a brief update on the flat track bike. Jordan has been working overtime to try and wrap that up so he can get home and see his family, but it's taken a little longer than I think anticipated, but all good stuff. I will share a couple of photographs of the bike as it's coming together. Timothy Peterson, afternoon, Halcyon 1072, sipping on red ale. Great to have you. Willard says 250 number 805 in Maple Shade, New Jersey with Pure Aqua, orange tangerine. He was riding a 2000 Superglide also. Wonderful. Frederick Miller III says, do you have any demo bikes that we can check, especially I'm in deep South Alabama. Definitely interested to look at a 450. We do not have any demos in your area, but if you get a hold of us, we can put you in touch with an owner in your area. We have owners around the country and involved in our ambassador program, and I hope we can find somebody within a reasonable distance to you. Please email our main number, and we can, or Mitch at Janus Motorcycles, and we can get you hooked up. Riggedy Alps is on. Good evening, all. Halcyon 450, number 234, Cheyenne, Massachusetts. Just got back from Virginia with the Harley Spirit. Glad I made it. Wonderful. Wave Shutter says, please tell more about the FT bike. I can't wait to hear. That might sway me over the Halcyon 450. Fantastic. Well, I will do that. Can't wait. I gotcha. And the ambassador program worked out really well for us. Endorsed. Wonderful. I'm really glad to hear that. Fantastic. Confed Yank is on. Howdy. Good to see you. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with our poem for this evening. I tried to pick something a little bit apropos to our program. This book is falling apart. Rather falling apart. Here we go. This is an old one. I think this is the first anonymous poem that I have read. This one probably dates back, 15th century. And I'm not an expert in my Scots accent or my antiquated English, but I'll do my best. This is called The Ballad of Sir Patrick Spence. The king sits in Dumfurling town, drinking the blood-red wine. Oh, whar will I get good sailor to sail this ship of mine? Up and spak an eldern knight sat at the king's right knee. Sir Patrick Spence is the best sailor that sails upon the sea. The king has written a braid letter and signed it wi' his hand, and sent it to Sir Patrick Spence, was walking on the sand. The first line that Sir Patrick read, a loud laugh laughed he. The next line that Sir Patrick read, the tear blinded his ee. Oh, why is this has done this deed, this ill deed done to me, to send me out this time of the year, to sail upon the sea? Make haste, my merry men, all our good ship sails the morn. Oh, say, nay, say, my master dear, for I fear a deadly storm. Late, late yestreen, I saw the new moon, with the old moon in her arm, and I fear, my dear master, that we will come to harm. Oh, our Scots nobles were right laith to weet their cork-heeled shoon, but lang o'er the play were played, their hats they swam aboon. Oh, lang, lang may their ladies sit, with their fans into their hand, or ere they see Sir Patrick Spence come sailing to the land. Oh, lang, lang may the ladies stand, with their gold kims in their hair, waiting for their ain dear lords, for they'll see them nae mair. Half o'er to Aberdour, it's 50 fathom deep, and there lies good Sir Patrick Spence, with the Scots lords at his feet. The ominous side of sailing. The fateful side of sailing. All right. Let's see if we have any other comments. Steve, Spanova 396. Steve just came up from the yard work. He's had a shot of tin cup and now sipping on Coors Light. Nice. Steve Rice. Hi, Richard. 969 saying thanks. Got the replacement tubes and was quickly back on the road. I don't know if any other manufacturer would send tubes under warranty like Janus. Can't say enough good about you all. Thanks. Great to hear it. Scott Spence. That's my relative. That's right. Many centuries ago. Charles McGahagan, Wave Shredder. There are a number of YouTube videos on this site that cover the Griffin 450 development. That's absolutely true. And I will talk a little bit about it here as well. Let's move on now to our builds of the week. Let's see if I've got this queued up properly. I do. Great. All right. First up, we have, let's make this a little bigger here for y'all. First up, we have Halcyon 250. Number 1087. This belongs to Alan, and this is in our lovely Charlevoix blue with, looks like silver pinstripe and only the silver feather outline on the tank, on the deluxe tank. Really a kind of a, I think Mitch described this bike as, what did he call it? In the desert, I'm totally blanking. It's hard to see, but it's really an amazing look that we've never done, as far as I'm aware. Yeah, fantastic look. This one does not have the ducktail fenders. However, there have been so many in the shop, I was almost expecting to see them. Brushed stainless exhaust, saddle brown leather. He's got they have the book rack on the back, headlight visor, number plate, silver wheel, matching wheel pinstripe. Really great looking bike. Really a stunning build with knobby tires. Next up, we have Halcyon 250, number 1088. This is in our cream color with black pinstripe, silver feather logo, and we have the number plate, single pinstripe, brushed stainless steel exhaust, black leather, and this, instead of the book rack, has the sprung pillion seat, black wide line seat, headlight visor, classic looking bike here. This one belongs to Mark. All right, next up we have Another 250, Halcyon 250 number 1085. This belongs to Steven. And talk about a classic look. This looks like an Origin with maybe some updates. I'm not sure. No fender pinstripe. Yeah, this looks like an Origin. We have black with gold pinstripe, the old-fashioned classic gold logo on the tank. If this is an Origin build, it's had saddlebags added and the number plate added. Beautiful. You really cannot go wrong with the black and gold. I waffle back and forth between the cream, like this, which is extremely durable and not it wears in well. It's hard to see. If you scratch it, it's hard to see. It stays clean looking. But then you have the sharp, crisp black, which is a little harder to keep the dust off of it. You notice it more. But talk about a classic motorcycle color scheme. Beautiful. Black leather. Yeah, great looking bike. Next up, we have a 450. This is a Halcyon 450 number 274 belonging to Paul. Paul was in today to check out his bike. This is pretty loaded. We've got a frame matched in cream with gold pinstripe, double pinstripe. We got the gold feather logo, which hasn't been completed in this photograph. Saddle brown leather, headlight visor, number plate, ducktail fenders, and polished stainless exhausts. Beautiful. This reminds me a lot of the third Halcyon 50 we made, which had a cream frame. It really reminds me of the 50s. And we have a Griffin 250, number 155, belonging to David. Classic again. I mean, these are great looking. Olive drab with gold single pinstripe. The old 250 style or original logo. 2 mirrors, bash plate, brushed exhaust, and cargo rack. This is where the Griffin all started. This is the original scrambler from Janus. So the 450 looks similar to this, but it's a little bit more updated to handle more aggressive off-road and with a little more power. And last of all, we have Halcyon 250 number 1086. This is definitely an Origin belonging to another David. This is cream with gold pinstripe. Classic. This is the same color as 68. Saddle brown leather, wide line seat. Yes, a wide line seat. And other than that, very simple. Brushed exhaust, no headlight visor, no saddlebags, no fender pinstripe. Really a clean look. I really like how these Origins have turned out. I think the Origins have been one of our triumphs of 2024, making the model line more accessible, as well as they look really good. Great. Okay, those are our builds of the week. I said I would talk about the flat track real quickly, and I'll go ahead and give you all a little update on the flat track bike. So give me a second here to share the right stream. Here we go. So I'll talk a little bit about in case you haven't caught a previous Ramblestream. Last week we went into quite a bit of detail with Jordan on the flat track build and really the Griffin 450. We have a number of update videos on the Griffin 450, everything from Charlie talking about the development and engineering to me dropping it off-road to more snazzy ride footage showing, I think it's Ryan we have on the bike during showing how it can ride on and off-road. But the flat track project was something that really I think Grant had been in contact with Jordan and Blake for quite some time. And we were able to, they were really excited to work with us. So the main idea is that we're going to be racing this starting at the American Flat Track race this year at Sturgis. It's on August 11th. It's a TT format race, which means that instead of it being a oval flat track, it's going to be it's going to have it's going to kind of follow the road. So it'll be a kind of a circuitous route. It has a dirt portion, or the rest of it's on pavement, and then it has some jumps, and really kind of platform jumps. So they jump off the jump, and there's no down ramp, so they just have to land it and keep riding. We'll be racing in the open category, as well as potentially some other ones. But they're really excited about the 450. This photograph shows Jordan's progress as of today. They custom made these handlebars down at our fabrication shop. James, our intern, helped make those. Brent, our fender maker, helped make the custom number plate on the front. And this bike the frame is completely one-off. Here, let's see if we can get a better shot. It started as a Janus frame, so you'll recognize the lower portion of the frame, but then Jordan has modified it to be more applicable for the race application. It'll have kind of different swing arm, different suspension setup, shorter at the front. It's much steeper. It's a more aggressive stance and really specifically gauged toward flat track racing. He's got a seat mocked up on there. They're working with Saddleman seats to do the actual seat, but lots and lots of fun things going on with that. We have sponsorship opportunities for everyone if you're interested in participating. Everything from $100 and up to help Blake and Jordan go to the races. And of course, Janus Motorcycles, we are of course providing the machine and a lot of other components that are going to go into the race success. So we have a blog post on that, and I will post something right after this in the description of the video with more information on the flat track build. But it's been really exciting. I do encourage you all to check out our YouTube channel for more on the Griffin 450 Scrambler, its updates, its design. I have a 2-part blog post on it. We've really documented it pretty carefully, and that is in development right now. So we'll be launching that we'll be in production with that very soon. Okay, we have one more picture here. Oh yeah, I just want that front stance, so flat track. Imagine this with 19-inch flat track tires. It's gonna look the part. So we're really, really excited. This is the first time Janus has gone racing. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Okay, let's go back over, take a quick look at some comments here. Let's see. Wave Shredder says, any plans for tubeless rims? At the moment, no. I mean, there are some tubeless setups you can do that you can run in your rim with spoked wheels. It's essentially without a adapter system on your bike. It's essentially impossible to run tubeless tires. BMW does use spoked wheels with tubeless tires, but they have a system where they're able to run the spokes outside of the rim. It's very expensive. It's very hard to true and hard to service. Only a BMW dealer, I think, is able to, or service shop is able to service those wheels. So far, I've always ridden tube type tires. That's probably the direction we're going to be staying, unless we can figure out a different system or running the spokes to the outside of the rim, possibly in the future. Confetti says tubeless spoke rims are kind of expensive. Yes, very expensive, and again, like I said, difficult to service. Dan says Mirage. You got it. Thank you. The blue bike is like a Mirage. You can't really. It's like it fools the eye. A total blank there. Wave Shooter says you can take a DIY approach, but so much less pucker factor when you get a flat. Yeah, it's true. Very true. Very true. Racing the Sun says Mirage or Oasis. Maybe both. You hope it's both if you're crossing the desert. Jansen says, this is the dream spec. Hey, Jansen. Some of you all remember Jansen as our one-time service tech, and he also still creates content for us. Good to see you. Jason412, Pittsburgh builds in progress. Halcyon numbers 1097 and 307. Sipping milk. Any chance of jockey shift and foot clutch upgrade in the future? Add to the classic look. Not at the moment. Just it complicates things and makes increases our liabilities. But maybe I'm not opposed to the idea. I think what he's talking about is a hand shifter or suicide shifter. If you've ever ridden with one, you know how hard they are to use. Steve here, awesome to see my black Origin with the bags and number plate featured in this week's builds. Well, fantastic. Very glad to hear. All right. Well, it's 7:30. I think we just about have time for me to cover what I'm going to be talking about tonight. So, without further ado, we'll dig into this. I probably won't have time to do this. As some of you all who followed the Ramblestream for some time now may know, I don't plug this enough. This is the Rambler's Companion. This is a little book that we published this February or beginning of March. It covers, this is the Bible of the Rambler, at least in the Janus world, and it talks about everything from motorcycles to rambling in general. And that's kind of what we're talking about, is it doesn't necessarily have to be on a motorcycle, although a motorcycle is a perfect machine to ramble with. However, in the writing of this and in the philosophy here at Janus, we lean heavily on not only motorcycles, but older cars with a lot of character and boats, especially traditional boats, and even in those, especially wooden boats, because there's a quality that sailing has that's very similar to motorcycling. It is an opportunity, or it is an experience or an activity that requires a level of skill, a level of daring, I'll even say, and then also a willingness to take full responsibility for your actions, and sometimes those of the weather or other people. So it is an area where we are required, if we want to ride a motorcycle, especially the kind of motorcycles that we build here, or sail a small boat, that you are aware of the parameters and the requirements of that activity, and that you are prepared for them. So I often, in thinking about coming up with the term rambling for what we're talking about, I looked quite a bit at sailboats. And I, as a sailor, I am a fan of small boats, especially dinghies. But sailing a small boat provides, it's just the same thing with what we talk about with riding a small motorcycle as opposed to riding a much larger, more cushy bike. A lot of people think when they go sailing that they need to have a self-furling sails, at least a 32-foot boat to go in open water, and then it goes from there, satellites and showers, and it just gets more and more like you're in an RV or you're in your own home. And we really feel that to capture the experience that we're actually after on a motorcycle, or we're actually after when we go sailing, that a smaller lightweight boat or a smaller lightweight motorcycle that's more traditionally built. It doesn't have to be traditional just for the sake of being traditional. Instead, it should be traditional because so few modern cars, motorcycles, and boats are able to provide the immediacy that older boats had. I'm not arguing, of course I'm not arguing only for older motorcycles, because we build them brand new. And I think that we should be able to, in the modern world, continue to create lively, thrilling motorcycles, boats, and cars. I would hope someday. Maybe not cars. We'll see. It's probably regulated out of possibility. But somehow motorcycles and boats are just, they provide this incredible room for us to be pilots of our own choosing. Wherever we want to go, it's up to you and your confidence, skill, and preparation. So tonight we're going to talk about a wooden boat, a very special one. And let's go ahead and go over here to this. So I was last week I went out to Connecticut, Bridgeport, Connecticut, to go to a yacht show. and that was just for Janus Motorcycles. We were there to demonstrate our bikes. And when I say yacht in this sense, I'm not talking about a small, lightweight, traditionally built boat. I'm talking about a very large white fiberglass and metal, and sort of like a giant RV that floats, or I don't know, very large, very expensive boats. And it was a lot of fun. But after we were done with the show and we had a great time meeting people and sharing what we're doing here at Janus, we took the ferry across the Long Island Sound, or the Long Island Sound, over to Port Jefferson, Long Island, where my youngest brother, he lives near there, and he has been engaged over the past year and a half in the construction of a brand new wooden boat. And I have a video to share, about a 20-minute video, which I need to get cranking on this, but I'll share that video here in a second so that we don't go too much over time, where we talk about it while we're sailing. And I'll kind of let that video speak for itself, but I wanted to just kind of go through some images of the build. I'm going to kind of have to skip through these, but basically this is the epitome of a simple Rambler's sailboat. It's a small boat designed for coastal cruising, completely traditionally built. This is based on a design by Nat Hershoff, I've mentioned him and his son, L. Francis, whose book, The Complete Cruiser, I have sitting right next to me, and that I actually quote in the Rambler's Companion. They were based out of Bristol, Rhode Island, but this boat is based on a design originally, I believe, if I'm speaking correctly, on the Hershoff 12.5. So that would have been a slightly smaller boat, I think around 16 feet long, but similar handling. And some people have called the 12.5 the best small boat ever made. Beautiful handling, beautiful lines. It looks absolutely gorgeous. There's a 12.5. It's a Keel boat. Just stunningly beautiful. The original design is from the 19-teens. There you can see the lines. Just a stunning little vessel. Open, not a cabin boat. However, this boat, through a series of renditions, it's been kind of manipulated over time, and it has now a 20-foot boat. And here they are laying it out, lofting all the lines from the plans, literally drawing out the boat to scale from the plans, using thin pieces of wood that they can bend to get the lines, nailing them down, and then starting on the construction. So there's the keel. Absolutely amazing. This is very, very traditionally built. Stephen graduated from the IRIS, which is the International School of Yacht Restoration, I don't know, up in Newport, and has been working at Wooden Boat Works for several years now, and had the opportunity to build this boat for the owner of the now, he no longer owns Wooden Boat Work, but this is sort of his final boat that he wants to build for himself. So he had Stephen build it. There it is going together. Some of the tools of the trade. Cherry stem, which he mentions in the video. And there it is going together. Just to give you a kind of an idea of the man hours and the skill that go into making something like this. This is a cabin cruiser, so it sleeps two. Look at the interior. Starting to come together. No, and talk about rambling. I mean, no extra amenities. That little bucket is is the head, as they say in a boat. The mast coming together. It's a folding mast, and there it is coming out of the shed. And there we are cruising. So it was launched on Saturday, and I'd been trying to schedule a visit up there for around when it got launched, and we really lucked out. And on Tuesday, we really took it out for its first cruise. Not its maiden voyage, but good sailing with wind. And there she is, coasting along in some light wind. And I'll there it is. Look at that, the tan bark sails. Yeah, just a blast to see.
You pull that down and hook it at the boom, and then these lines that are run through these grommets on the leech, you tension it, and you have the, lower the sail, and then you tie those off and move it up.
Okay, well, I'm
ready.
Pause this here. This is a little video. I hope that the audio comes through okay. Do tell me if the...
All right.
I need to pause all my volumes here. Yeah, tell me if the audio is or isn't coming through, and we'll go from there. I'm going to actually mute myself so that I don't...
We are on board SV Daty, which is a, how long is it? 20 foot gaff rig sloop that my brother Stephen here has just completed building. Is this actually the maiden voyage? This is the first day of real sailing. First day of real sailing on Daty. Launch day was a little bit depressing. not enough wind? Not enough wind, and we got waked by some large power boats. So, how long have you been working on it? A year and a half, basically. A year and a half. And just tell us about the design and you're building this for Don. Wooden Boat Works. We're in Greenport, New York, at the end of Long Island. And Don Costanza started Wooden Boat Works. He's now sold it, doesn't own Wooden Boat Works anymore. But I basically worked for him in most of my boat career. And he reached out to me to build this boat for him. So it's been me and just him for the past year and a half building this. I think he first saw the original version on the Wooden Boat magazine calendar. It was designed and built by Harry Bryan for his own personal use. And this is the third edition of it. And we decided to go lapstrake instead of carvel. So lapstrake means that the boards are overlapping each
planks
other.
lap instead of being edge to edge.
Mm-hmm.
And tell us a little bit about who Harry Bryan is and his legacy.
I'm
where it
not
goes back to.
a complete expert, but he lives up in Nova Scotia and he teaches at the apprentice shop. I know occasionally. He seems to be pretty heavily featured in the Off-Center Harbor videos. I think he's pretty well known in the wooden boat scene around here. I've actually never met him. I've watched a lot of his videos. And it looked like the perfect little small boat for my boss. You could say it's sort of like his retirement plan.
What was sort of the design brief for the boat?
He wanted a smaller boat. He currently has a 35-foot Ketch, which is a two-masted boat, and it was a little too much for him to potentially be able to single-hand. He definitely couldn't single-hand it, and it was just a bigger boat is harder to get out on a regular basis. He also wanted a shallower draft boat so he could go in the Great South Bay, which is sometimes 2 feet deep, and this boat draws 2 feet with the board up. And the other key was that she sails well with the board up or down. Technically, we haven't tested that on this boat yet. The board is down, but apparently she'll tack through the wind with the board up, which is a good thing.
How many people? This is the idea that this is like a boat as small as you can go with a trailered, with a cruiser.
You can do a lot with this boat, but it is technically a trailered boat. The goal was that he could take it anywhere behind his truck and put the mast up and launch it. But it's actually not that small of a boat. It's 20 feet, and there's a lot of boat actually in that 20 feet.
What's the displacement?
It weighs 2,800 pounds, I think we're saying. We don't actually know. The original boat weighs that. We don't know if this is heavier or lighter because it's lap straight, which technically saves weight, but we also used a lot more hardwoods in it, I think.
So what are the woods you use?
It has a white oak keel, white oak frames, Alaskan yellow cedar planking, a teak garboard, which is the lowest plank, and a teak sheer straight, which is the highest plank. The transom is teak, the coamings are teak, the cabin sides are teak. Everything that's oiled or varnished is teak, and then the rest of the hull is just oiled. All the floor timbers are locust, the deck beams are locust, and then there's a lot of cherry details, and the stem is cherry, which came from a tree that somebody was cutting down in East Hampton, and should have given us a lot more wood, but basically barely gave us the stem. But it was a natural crook, which was great. And cherry, it's kind of amazing. We cut it up, we had it milled green. It hasn't moved, no checks. It's dense, but also really nice to shape. And it can have crazy grain. A lot of the boats we've done in the past, we use cherry instead of mahogany or teak for the varnish bright work, which comes from a guy named Gil Smith, who designed a lot of boats in this area that Don loved and has restored several of Gil Smith's boats. They're shallow draft cat boats designed for the bay that he wants to be able to sail this boat in, but they're even shallower, and they're very wide, shallow boats, and they're beautiful. Oh, look at this. Sail school.
So right now we're sailing out of Greenport, between Greenport and Shelter Island. We're actually getting pretty close to Shelter Island.
Yeah.
Probably go back there in a minute.
Where we got a ferry coming? I would say tack across. There's no more ferries. We can
Go
up
down?
we can go up in the Pipes Go.
Go a little bit further and then go back. So it's a centerboard boat. It sleeps
Two people, but the cockpit, you could probably sleep 3 people.
3 people in it. And then this looks like a canvas deck, but it's actually what?
It's Dynel, which is basically fiberglass, but it looks like a traditional canvas deck. So all the decks are actually plywood, marine grade plywood with the Dynel finish, and then painted like a canvas deck.
One of the things I think that really stands out the most on this boat, other than the beautiful, wooden bright work hull, is the amount of brass. This boat is beautiful, like everything is
the hardware on
incredible
here
hardware.
is taken to an extreme. My boss has I think he kind of collects wood, and given that this is like his little final project, we used a lot of nice wood and a lot of nice hardware. The original boat it called for 1 3/8 cedar cabin sides, and this is 1 3/8 teak, which is I think teak's $60 a board foot, but if you already have it and you've had it for several years, you might as well use it. And all this teak actually was from a previous project we did for a 60-foot restoration. It's leftovers. Came from Europe, I think. It was a boatyard. We have a great connection for getting wood. The guy who basically supplies all the wood for classic yacht restorations.
So we're ready to go about now?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, it was pretty shallow here. I
Ready
actually
about?
pulled a boat off the beach here one time.
Heartily.
The benefit of having a shallow draft boat. Can you shoot the gap? Yeah. And we can go inside that red mark over there, Richard. We can cut that mark. It's also a tie tide.
So tell us about the rig of the boat. This is actually the first time I've ever sailed a gaff rig. So
Yeah, I'm not an expert on gaff rigs either, besides the fact that I guess they're a little easier to build and maintain.
one benefit is the length of the mast.
One benefit, yeah, the mast is usually shorter, it's usually a little bit stronger. You don't necessarily, you're not gonna, you don't tune a gaff rig boat like you would a modern sailboat with a Bermudan rig, where you need it highly tensioned. It's fairly slack. You don't need anything too fancy. It's a shorter rig. You don't have as much height, but the sail, I guess you could say, is wider. I'm not an expert on the sailing, on the technique.
But it seems like sailing it, you use very similar
cues from on the
Yes,
sail.
and you don't have to have any winches.
Yep.
You can do everything with block and tackle. I've been looking into it for my own boat reasons, and everybody says one of the bigger benefits is you can fix anything on your own. If something goes wrong, you're not usually calling in a boat yard to tune up a boat.
Right.
Let's let her off a little bit.
One of the things, this is the first time these sails have been really used, so we've been instructed not to
Yes.
run it too hard.
You should let them break in. They're natural cotton sails, hand stitched, all handmade by a lady, I believe in Maine.
Okay.
And I can't remember the name of the company. Her logos are very small.
These are what you call tan bark. It's this beautiful round prison would have been dive.
Yes. I've read somewhere, or I watched a YouTube video that they were like it was the guys that were dying technique. And it was sort of like a little secret. Nobody, I think it was like they were saying like they didn't. Sometimes it's like hard to remember how they actually got the elements. That could be completely nonsense.
Today, it's just a very old-fashioned, traditional look.
Looks pretty cool.
Looks cool, yeah.
Especially on the gap rig. It's a very oh, the wind really is picking up.
That's a spray.
Oh, a little spray, yeah.
Spray.
So the other thing with this rig,
Yeah, go ahead.
is the boat is meant to be trailer and set up easily. I'm not actually sure how old he is. My boss is in his 70s, and the goal is for him to be able to step the mast by himself, which we have now figured out that he can do, just with the block and tackle purchase system. It's a little harder going up, but coming down, the weight is at your fingertips. There's no weight at all. So once we figure out all the details, you can probably have this boat ready to launch and sail probably in like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, which is a lot easier than your boat.
Yeah.
You sometimes can't do it by yourself.
Yep, nope. Definitely takes two people to raise the
When we were testing this boat out, Don would pull and I would walk it up. And since we've refined the technique, I'm just standing there watching because I'm going to build it. And I'm a little nervous.
But I would say, as far as like a sailboat, this is a purist's boat. I mean, there is nothing that isn't extremely traditionally built
Yeah.
and designed to be used in a very traditional way. We got a fisherman's anchor off the bowsprit. There are no.
It's all copper rivets and bronze screw. A couple bronze. The garboard is screwed with bronze fasteners. There's everywhere else where you can see the fasteners. It's bronze nails, like ship nails, which are pretty cool. Yeah, it's all riveted together, and there's no sealant or anything between the laps. A lot of people do 5200 on lap straight boats.
5200 is a marine grade adhesive.
I get it. I don't really, do what you got to do. Our philosophy was, if it needs it in 10 years, you can always add it. But why put it in now? Let's see. You can go in a little bit pretty far, actually. What else? Let's see. We did actually 5200 the garboard. That is one place where it would act differently in theory. So we did 5200 the garboard seat. With this, and we actually just 5200. Yeah. There's a bit of cotton caulking up the transom where the planks lay over the transom edge.
But as far as the kind of intended use for this boat, this is a boat that
Look at this. We're racing the optics.
Racing optics. This is a boat that will. This is a Rambler. All right, ready, boat? And hard to lead.
Yeah, they're all going to attack here pretty soon.
Traveler went over just fine there.
Yeah, one benefit as well is the jib is self-bending, so we didn't touch anything.
Yep. Very easy to say.
Yeah, we didn't touch anything.
All the lines are led back. But what I was gonna say there was that as far as kind of intended sailing this boat is designed for and built for is coastal cruising, exploring, not far from land. You're not going to be going out
Yes.
blue water sailing in this.
But you could.
But you could.
I think you could. I think you could do pretty good.
But in that sense, it really is a boat that's designed to heighten just the experience of sailing, and
It's easier off below.
and not focus so much on all the technology,
Yeah,
modern
there's,
technology.
We do have an electric motor.
We do have an electric motor on
It's
board.
optional use, in case you're in a dead calm and you're getting tired. Or I guess if you're in an emergency.
But a simple, lightweight kind of a approach that focuses on simplicity.
Hopefully, it will only be sculled. Sorry, I apologize. There's a 12-foot sculling oar that breaks in half. You can scull off the transom with a sculling notch, or you can row one oar rowing off the port side and counteract the oar with the tiller. So, ideally, that's what you're doing is sculling,
Not using the rudder to get into a slip
or out of a slip,
or out of a slip.
or out of a tight spot or whatever, up a river or something.
Do you have a single oar lock on this one?
Single oar lock goes on that side, yeah.
So the idea there is, it sounds kind of impractical that you can actually use a single oar on one side in conjunction with the tiller to move the boat.
Yeah.
And I would just say, in terms of like the way it handles, it seems like it sails like a dinghy almost. It's to me it sails. We used to have a 25-foot folk boat, which is another last drake, and that boat definitely sailed like a bigger, heavier boat, which it was probably up close to twice the displacement.
Probably went down faster.
But this is more like sailing my Mariner, which is a 19-foot, very, very lightweight boat.
They are the same size boat. They sleep the same number of people. This is just a lot heavier.
Yeah, and so in this wind, my Mariner would be heeled a lot further over, and we'd be moving around a lot more.
Although, watching that video of the original designer on his boat, he did say, you do still treat it like a centerboard boat.
Treat it like a centerboard
even
boat.
though there's 850 pounds of ballast. It is still sensitive. But it's kind of in the middle, I guess.
So where would the original for this boat is based on what
I think
design?
the original comes from Herreshoff. I want to say it starts with a 12.5, which is a beautiful little boat.
So Herreshoff is
over there.
Tell us just a little bit about the original Herreshoff, Nat Herreshoff.
Nat Herreshoff, based in Bristol, Rhode Island. You were right in your last live stream. I'm glad you answered my text message. I can't comment live. I don't subscribe. But he started out building boats with his brother. He was working for a different firm, designing engines, I think. I don't know their full history. But he and his brother combined and started the yard. He was the designer, and his brother was like the business brains. And literally, I think the business stopped doing as well when his brother died. But his brother was blind, and they would race together and win. And they were brothers. They could coordinate. They were good. Yeah,
they were good.
But Nat Herreshoff started designing some of the. He's probably one of the most well-known American designers
Of racing boats,
kept the America's Cup in America until he stopped designing boats. Or it lasted longer than that, but he never lost it until into the 30s.
So what were some of the boats people might recognize, like the big boats?
Well, the most famous is Reliance, which is an insane boat.
How big was that one?
It wouldn't go under the Newport Bridge now, which is a huge bridge. I don't know the actual.
We're talking 100 feet?
Yeah. Oh no, more than that. Its rig was
just massive amounts of sail
The
power.
boom and the bowsprit were like twice as long as the hull. But the hull was also basically a battery. So I think they joked that it spent more time being built than actually in the water. But it won the race. So they weren't just building lightweight, useless boats for the America's Cup back then.
Yeah, right. And then Nat Herreshoff's son. Tell us about
which one? What are you talking about? So this boat is all Nat Herreshoff.
So he built the 12.
The 12.5. That then went into the Buzzards Bay 14, and lots of people have copied that into different versions. I don't remember the names, but I think this is based on the Haven 14, I believe.
Okay.
Which is a Herreshoff. And I could be getting all of this wrong. I'm not the expert on that one.
You're expert enough to build.
I could build it. I don't know the history.
see.
Just trying to keep the sails a little slack.
Yeah, I'm just relaxing here. I think I've actually watched people sail here more than I've actually sailed, which is fine. Because then I don't look like an idiot.
So anyway, it's then the designer of this boat,
Harry Bryan,
I
I think took some of that same inspiration and tweaked it for his use. This is also what I've been told by Don, who's looked into it more than I have. Maybe Harry would say that's not true. I designed it myself. I don't know.
Well, you all looked very closely at
we were looking
boat.
at his boat and heavily. We bought his plans and looking at his YouTube videos. But we also had the book on the restoration of a Haven 14 or 14 that they did at Mystic Seaport. Very traditional how to build a parasol. And it literally, like, step 9, this is a picture of the keel being bent. Like it's almost like a user manual on how to build it. The pictures are numbered and ordered. Ooh, we're coming up on the Sunset Beach here.
Right.
Bougie.
That's a little introduction to this boat. We'll probably intersperse this with some more images of the boat and the construction. But this will be a nice little sidetrack to the rambling lexicon to explore, because this type of activity is exactly what we're trying to do with Janus motorcycles and lightweight, traditionally built vehicles.
You could say there's a little bit of rambling involved in building this boat, too. Lots of finding the right piece for the right thing. Like the tiller is shaped like that because that's the piece of wood we had, the grain. We wanted to have the grain running through the curve. It worked out perfectly.
All right.
I actually changed the design to make it work. Attack?
Yeah. Ready?
Ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Well, there you have it. Thanks for bearing with us on that one. I think that's a little bit of an interesting look at more of the philosophy behind what we're trying to do with the motorcycles as well, and the kind of it's a different approach to our engagement. I mean, just listen. If you listen to that boat, I mean, especially if you get down in the cabin, it's speaking as you're sung. And the same thing is true of a Halcyon or a Griffin. I mean, in the sense that they talk to you. There's a reason we didn't put a tachometer originally on the 250 because it doesn't need it. You can hear the engine RPMs. You can feel the engine RPMs. You can feel the bumps in the road. And as I say in the Rambler's Companion, there are different kinds of fun. There's a fun number 1 and a fun number 2. And that fun number 1, they're different. And sometimes you have to kind of really engage with life, with your surroundings, with the weather, with the surface of the road you're driving down, in order to really truly have the kind of fun that lasts and that you remember for many, many years, and that actually transforms us. And that's what we're looking for, and I believe, on motorcycles and certainly on small sailboats. So thank you for joining in on that. I'll take a quick look at the comments here. It looks like we've got a couple of comments. We got Old School. Good to see you there, Old School. We got Bucky Bike Build number 300 going great, Richard. Can't wait to add it to the stable. Good evening. Good to see you. Wit says, pull that sail in. It's luffing. Yes, it is luffing, but we were kind of trying to deload the sail to keep them from stretching out too much. Keith says, that's how you learn to sail. Just do it and everybody will tell you what you're doing wrong. Exactly. Wit, awesome. Ramble, thanks for sharing. Very cool. From Jordy Field. Charles says, I appreciate your sharing your brother's craftsmanship. Absolutely. Roger says, beautiful boat. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, and more than just sharing it, I think that this is what we're talking about with Rambling. And so I hope I will be doing a little bit more of a deep dive into these kinds of connections with different kinds of activities, talking a little bit more about small boats and sailing, and not in an attempt to say that you all should go out and get boats, but rather that how this kind of activity has an effect or is interwoven with the kind of motorcycling that I think we're all really excited about and that we enjoy when we hop on our Halcyon or our Phoenix or our Griffin model. So, yeah. Well, thank you all very much. Farming. Is that what Jordy says? Farming? Farming is also very, very, that's a really good point. I'll have to get my other brother on for that one. I don't think he'll do that. Yep. Very, very nice. Paul, you're a Long Islander. Great boat build. Guest building runs the family. Yep. Jordy says farming. All right. Well, thank you all very much. And I will catch you all next week for the Ramblestream. It will be after the 4th, but I'll be back and we'll have some more fun programs to share with you all. Thank you very much, and I will catch you next week. Bye-bye.